Welcome back to the Baco Motorsports Power Hour, the Auto Club Famoso Raceway segment. Just finished up a big weekend of racing out there. I got Blake Bowser in.
Just talking. This should be the show.
This will be the show, just talking. Well, it will be the show, us just talking, because
For the rest of the winter, right?
36 slides after a couple videos
Okay.
here. So it will be us talking.
We're going to be talking the rest of the winter about this.
Hey, Chris, can you play the A-Gas video if we have that? If you could find that A-Gas video. I thought this was great for the reunion here.
Who got that video?
I don't know. Videos were banned by the
Mysterious
NHRA. Somebody sent me some video, so we put it up.
This is the A-Gas final.
The A-Gas final.
This is Bakersfield versus Taft.
Yeah.
Like it used to be back in the day. Look at that, 760 dead on 61. Wow.
761.
Yeah.
So that was
so that was Keith Moravich
Moravich in the
final.
left lane, and is that 67 Chevelle, I think? Or,
Chevelle,
boy,
I
I
believe.
know
It could be
it's
on
a
the,
Chevelle. It's a Nova.
Nova.
67
Okay.
Nova from Bakersfield, and Brendan Fry from Taft. As you were saying, that's like the old Bakersfield
Like the old-
College.
like it used to be BC
Taft,
versus Taft,
The junior
yeah.
college
Yeah.
wars back in the day before.
That was the potato bowl right there.
Brendan may have been about 5 years old back then.
Yeah, if that.
If that.
I mean,
So, but Brendan was the defending champion, and pretty good deal. I mean, 24 cars in that field, and to have the two local guys end up in the final.
yeah.
couldn't
Yeah, and
be
they're just
better.
racing for a purse and a trophy. Their point series
Yeah, the
was
point
done.
series was done, and put Keith on the all-area team.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and Brendan's on it because he
good
got
for
a
him.
couple Nostalgia Series races, and
Yeah.
and two really good A-Gas racers.
Those are probably some of the best. I mean, there is probably a good dozen or so that can just dominate any day, any race, and that's probably one of the most difficult classes
Yeah,
to win in.
That you have
know.
to be on your dial in,
Yeah.
and you need to be good on the light. And Keith had a
Everything.
little bit of an edge on the light, so he led that one from
You have to
start
understand
finish.
racing. You have to understand when to down at the finish line, when to take the stripe, when to let them go. You can just get a feel for that. And
Yeah.
that just comes with time. Those guys have it. They know when to cut someone loose, so to speak, or go ahead and run it out. And yeah, it's
then-
fun to watch.
Then go ahead. We had the two videos of the top field and the funny car finals. Go ahead and show those, Chris.
Yeah, boy, the points chase came down to that final, didn't it? In top.
Yep.
Great. We got Jim Murphy.
Look at Jim Murphy in the right-hand lane there. Up against all-world Tony Bartone in the left-hand lane. And it's interesting, these guys have been running 560s.
Yeah.
Murphy had not missed a beat
Yeah. Yeah, I know it. Until then.
until then.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Jim. I don't know if a 5.60 would have.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
don't think
because
he could have run a 60 flat. I don't
yeah,
know.
he had been running
he was in
62,
mid-60s, right?
65s
Yeah.
all weekend long
Yeah.
from Friday on. And it's funny, Jim, as we were
Yeah.
saying, he did not miss a beat.
And they're still
until
getting
the
that car
final.
figured out. Roland really took over. I think he was with him at the March meet, maybe just after, or just got involved at the March meet. So they've only had, a handful of races, and every run they're learning more and learning more. And we sat and talked with Roland for a long time back in Boise on Saturday night, and he's trying different things, and
Right.
in the injector.
Yeah, I know the injector changed from
Yeah.
Saturday Night Nitro. They had that mailbox on there.
Well, he used it once, I think. Yeah, one big scoop injector for one qualifying run, took it off. So
Took it off and then just-
they're in test mode for next year. But
Yeah,
they're running
so-
pretty well for next year already.
already. And then
Yeah.
the Nostalgia Funny Car Final featured Jason Rupert and Chris Crable.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool to see because Jason had never had a win there at Bakersfield, and Chris already clinched the championship. So
Yeah, kind of both West Coast drivers, but two different series they run on.
yeah, and Chris, they had a magneto failure, so they said that he actually left before
Go ahead,
Jason did. So yeah, I thought Chris was in the right lane in the final.
Chris.
wasn't
You can skip out of that. That was semifinals too.
he?
I
Yeah,
think
that was
there.
semis. I think Chris was in the right lane. Jason was in the left lane for the final. So, but
Yeah, that was a semifinal.
yeah, Chris
one. I
they had a
sent the wrong
mag
one
failure.
over.
Chris had left on Jason. That would have been down to the finish line, heads up race there. That would have been really incredible to see. But
Yeah,
their mag failed on them, and the car just quit.
Yeah. So that
Or
was the
sputtering.
that was the 25th annual
Yeah.
NHRA California Hot
Right,
Rod
right.
Reunion. Had a pretty good crowd on Friday.
Yeah.
And stands look good. Go ahead and start running
Yeah.
through these slides. We'll start with the
There's Brennan again
Brennan
there.
Fry
Yeah.
there, and
I like that
Keith.
T-shirt in the background right there. It's kind of nice.
Do you like that? Yeah. And so there's Mr. Moreau.
Yeah, there's our winner for May Gas.
Yeah, so
it is
two
a no-brainer.
good-looking cars there.
Yeah.
And then this was a shot from the Saturday
Little
afternoon.
crowd shot there.
I think right before a little oil down. They're starting to move there. But overall, Tom did a lot of good work out there. But
Yeah.
what was your thoughts on this?
It just keeps getting more. You know what's cool to see too is it's starting to get more diverse. We're for a while there, and then
Hang on
yeah,
here, right
let's
here.
talk about that.
Let's talk about this. Hold this. Tom was down there and says,
Yeah.
you got to run this photo."
Yeah.
And so my question is, do you want to drive a double A fuel altered?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Because there's no oil left in this car.
No, there's none. There's
There's
none.
none.
That part's okay. It's when all that oil gets on fire. That's when you got a problem. So,
Yeah,
and
and
that you can
and-
clean off and
And luckily, this
know.
one did not have a fire. This was just
Yeah.
oil everywhere and
Yeah.
oil all over the track, which takes down
and that's
some time.
just something failed because that shouldn't happen running 6.0 with those cars.
No,
you know, that's
so-
the whole point of us doing 6.0. But something just failed in that car.
Something
obviously.
failed, and I just think that's a great shot of completely covered in oil.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that and that was
and here's another
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
There was a little fire here, and
There was.
Tom says, "Yeah, there was enough. Fire was all underneath."
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was. I think there's a hole in that block.
I think you see it coming right there, coming out.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
You can see the
I
pieces
think,
starting to
think
fall.
those are
yeah.
pieces coming out of there. So that engine
Relatively
block
clean
was
weekend.
well
that
ventilated.
was cool to see. Guys are really starting to make the efforts to, they understand that containment is very important for the fans' side. You don't want to see anything happen because there's still, even though it's being contained, there's still parts just being destroyed. You don't want to see that.
Parts
You
being
can't-
destroyed when
Yeah.
it's contained. Pretty good photo there in the top end of
yeah. I
semifinal
think that
round.
was a semi, right?
Yeah, Adam Sorokin and Tony Bartone here in the
yeah.
near us.
So, yeah, I just started to say, it's just the reunion and the March meet are just getting bigger and more. What summed up my weekend is the incredible attendance from Australia. I could not believe the amount of Australians that were there. Well, we can talk about that if you want.
We could talk about, this is part of nostalgia racing, and this is this a double A gas?
That
I think
yes,
that's the
well,
double A-
that's like I think he ran more in the they ran in those gas or geezers
Gasser
class,
geezer
yeah,
class,
yeah.
the old style, and
Right,
of course, kind of a modern outfit here
Yeah.
on the go. But
Yeah.
this is a throwback to where
Yeah.
there's a lot of backup girls and stuff, and there's more
Right.
slides of
this
backup
is
girls.
all part of the group right there.
Part of the group
They're-
there. And Tom Mock loves wheelies, and I've
Yep.
decided that he's in the transmission business, so he just likes
getting a
looking
little
up
shot of-
underneath.
yeah.
He said,
What are
"Okay,
they-
that's a pretty good." So he's kind of looking at the undercarriage of these
Yeah.
cars, but he
Yeah,
loves
if you like
wheelies.
wheel stands, that was the class to watch, either AFX or the geezer gassers. That's the ones to see.
He said he liked those straight
Yeah.
axle cars. So.
Yeah,
But as overall, and this is what happens when oil is not contained.
that's correct. Well, or when something just explodes, which
explodes
happened
or-
on Storyline. That's a
I think-
Storyline shot right there.
Yeah, that may
so-
have been somebody, I believe, had a oil filter fail,
okay.
and
yeah.
there's you go.
Yeah, that's just
it's
gonna
pumping
happen.
out oil on
Yeah.
the track, and
rather
that
have it
happens.
happen right up there when the car's going very slow or doing a burnout.
Yeah.
than at the top end when
And-
they're hauling the mail.
And Tom sent this one, and I'm sure because he loved the flex on the tire here, you could just see the grip in the track.
Yeah. No,
So-
I had a great track all weekend, and even they call them nostalgia pro mods. That's far from nostalgia, if you ask me. But
Yeah, I
There's
don't
still-
see
there's
much
still-
about this.
yeah,
And
there's
this
a little-
was
there's a
in
little
Gary.
attrition.
This was in Gary Denham's pit. I think this was just an old one they had on display. He didn't do any
okay.
damage this weekend. They just
Yeah.
had it sitting out there on display. I think if you probably wanted to buy it, they probably would sell it to you.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, just in fact, we were talking over the weekend. You were out there, and we got some feedback on this very show. About this very show from
Yeah, this
a
is
couple
strange
from
thing,
England
Will.
that walked up.
I was going out there. I think I was on Thursday to
Yeah.
take some stuff to the trailer because I work out on my trailer, and I met a gentleman, Randy,
Yeah.
at Jack in the Box there at Merced at the truck stops because I
Yeah.
got something to eat on the way out, and then I come up to
Yeah.
the track, and I'm talking to Blake and said, "Hey," he says, "I'm one of 3 people who watched the show." And Blake says, "Well, I just ran into some guys tell your story."
Well, yeah, it was a couple from England, and they actually walked by the day before, and they took a picture. And I thought, that's kind of strange, it's just random. But they had their cameras, they were taking a picture of everything. I didn't think anything of it. Well, the next day they came back, and the guy walked up and he says, he stopped for a second. He says, "You're Blake." And I said, "Yeah, how you know that?" He says, "Oh, I watch your guys' show every Wednesday." So we found the other 2.
We found the other 2. So we found the 3 people.
And they're
who
still
watch
here
the
in the
show.
U.S., so now we're down to maybe one person.
And we figured
right
out
now,
we're
but
getting in England because we're airing. If they're watching us live,
you did the math on the
I did
time
the math.
difference.
It's 9 hours difference.
Yeah, we're prime time.
We're prime time. There you go.
That couple's heading to Vegas this weekend, so I don't
they're
know if
probably
they'll
not
be-
watching
don't know
us.
if you've tuned
No,
in or not,
they're
but
probably
if they
not.
are, hello, thank you, and
they're probably not awake yet.
probably not.
But I think that shows. I mean, you got all those people,
Yeah.
and we know we get a lot of people from Australia watching it
Yeah.
just by we could check the metrics.
You
and
can see
you can see where people are watching the show. And you
Yeah.
said a lot of Australians out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just I constantly made an effort to stay in our souvenir stand selling our March Meet shirts. Either myself or my dad was there all weekend. One of the 2 of us was there at all times, and just the people that walked up and bought shirts and said hello from Australia, from England, Bavaria had a couple from right there, and just incredible. Yeah, I could not believe it. So I don't know if I spent a little more time talking to them, or if we saw a spike in attendance with this event, with the international crowd.
Well, I noticed a gentleman from Germany came up to the tower and has a pro mod there and was inquiring about running it. He was talking to Mark. Mark was up there then.
Yeah.
But it's a modern turbocharged
Okay.
twin. And he said, "No, you can't run
Yeah.
it, but we have a testing tune before the
Right.
March meet." And so he gave him the dates and everything. So,
Right.
so here's somebody from Germany wants to bring their race car over and run it, Famoso.
And I know there's a fuel altered from England being all boxed up, getting ready to ship over for the fuel altered category at the March meet. So it's just fun to see it just start to
I think that's
spread worldwide.
it's you just wonder why.
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
just must be the lure of this type of racing.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how much time we have. Another funny story. A guy walked up and said he's from Wasco and was in Australia wearing a March meet shirt. And a gentleman kept looking at you. You can feel someone kind of staring you down. And finally, he approached the Australian and said, "Do you want this shirt?" And the Australian he was wearing a hot rod shirt. The other guy, the Australian, so he could tell there was some interest there on both sides. So he says, "Do you want this March meet shirt?" And the guy said, "You been there?" And our guy from the U.S. from Wasco said, "Yeah, I live like 6 minutes from the track." And the Australian just went, "Oh, we just all want to go there. We just can't wait to someday get there." So they exchanged shirts. And now they're best friends, and he's been over there visiting a few times and just got back from Australia. So he told me that story. That's really cool. Yeah. Just walking down the street somewhere in Australia in a March meet shirt caught someone's attention, and they're friends.
Yeah, and realistically, the second biggest drag race country in the world is Australia.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
no doubt about it. They've got their own. They've got their own. Their own series, their Australian drag racing series they run. They have top fuel. Right. They have a lot of categories. And so the Aussies are big into drag racing.
Yeah, because the other series encompasses all of Europe, basically. I mean, it's England and Germany and
the other stuff.
Sweden. So,
kind of
so it takes other countries, but Australia has
its own.
And maybe
series.
Canada. Canada's got a pretty strong
well, a lot of
race.
and there are a lot of guys from the Edmonton area down for this race.
Exactly.
Ken Sitko's come to. I talked to Ken a little bit.
Yeah,
he comes down every year.
Yeah,
says he doesn't
Tim
make.
Nemeth.
Yeah. Ken says, I said, you don't come to the March meet. He said, no, because he says with that weather, he says I've been on those, driving through Montana.
It's tough for
and
them.
You're going downhill and you're in a slide and you're wondering, am I going to live?
Yeah.
Or is this going to stop? He says, so I just don't fight the weather.
That's why a lot of those guys, they're based in the Arizona area, and their cars are over there safe in good weather, and they just come over and run the March meet then.
Pretty good deal. And the March meet weekend is March
2, was it 2, 3, 4, and 5? 2 through 5,
2 through 5. Tickets on sale now. Entries coming in.
Entries coming in for sure.
And real quick before we go, show this. You're not quite done yet.
Nope. We have the first weekend of November and the first weekend of December, and then we are done for the year. So Super Chevy Show coming up. So if you got a car you want to bring out there, tons of awards. Just bring it out, get in the car show. chances are you probably get an award.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you
bet.
next year.
See you next year.
Take care.